Okay, welcome everyone to the Poudre River Fest. We are in our second day of this year's festival. Today, everything is about recreation. And so we have the wonderful Kira from Stream Tracker with us today to give us a presentation on how you can help track when streams are flowing. And now let me just get back in my, okay, there we go. I can see my screen. The Poudre River Fest is put on by 6 organizations here in Fort Collins. You can see them here on the screen. They are the brains behind this wonderful festival that is all about educating the community on the Poudre River Fest, which is a lifeline throughout the Fort Collins and the greater areas surrounding. Proceeds from the Poudre River Fest go to support restoration projects on the Cache la Poudre River. So if you're interested in learning more or donating, you can visit poudreriverfest.org. So I am now going to hand it over to Kira to give us her wonderful presentation.
Great, thank you very much. I'm really happy for everyone that's here today. As Laura mentioned, my name is Puntenney Desmond, and I am the project manager of Stream Tracker. And so today, in celebration of Recreation Day for the Poudre River Fest, I intend to give a short presentation on what Stream Tracker is and why we are here today for Recreation Day, and then I'm going to walk you through how to use some aspects of the project, and we'll have a chance to answer some questions, and then hopefully you leave today with everything you need to join the fun and join Stream Tracker. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. Let's see, we'll start this up. Let's see, oh, and of course we're at the very end. One moment, please. A preview, hold up, let's see. There we go, let's start at the very beginning. All right, so Stream Tracker is a community science monitoring project looking at small streams that might not flow year-round. It's a project that was started here in Fort Collins through Colorado State University, so right here in the Poudre River Watershed, and it has grown nationally. And this project, we are collecting data on smaller streams that might not flow year-round, and we're recording simply where these smaller stream channels are and when they are flowing. So when they are flowing water and when they dry throughout the year. And this is a project that is really easy to do while you're out recreating. So hiking, biking, driving, just enjoying your local watershed. And so some of you might not be as aware, but not all streams and rivers flow all the time. We are really familiar with larger rivers, so like the Poudre River. And the Poudre River, we can pretty much count on there being flowing water year-round. And this is this type of river we call a perennial river. And then we have streams that usually tend to be smaller in size, and they may or may not flow year-round. So they might dry at some point during the year. And this stream type is called an intermittent stream. So right here, this is a photo of Mill Creek up in Laurie State Park, and it consistently dries year after year. And then the third stream type is an ephemeral stream channel, and these stream channels, they will have flowing water in them, usually following a large precipitation event, either rain or snow, but most other times of the year are dry. So perennial, you're talking about flow year-round. Intermittent, you're talking about flow from usually days to months, and ephemeral, you're talking about flow from hours to days. And so perennial streams like the Cache la Poudre River, we tend to have a really good idea where they are because they tend to be larger. And we also tend to focus all of our monitoring efforts on these larger streams. So we have our stream gauging stations, we go out, collect water quality samples, and we focus a lot of attention on the health and flow of these larger streams. But then these larger streams, they're oftentimes fed by these smaller tributaries, which tend to be these intermittent streams. And these intermittent streams, they're much more numerous in how many are out there. And we also know very little about where they are and when they might be flowing. And so we don't really have much data at all on these smaller stream channels. And so that is where Stream Tracker was born, where we have created a project in which you all participate in helping collect data on these smaller stream channels. We're using the power of the crowd and the power of crowdsourcing observations to take advantage of when you're out in our watershed and you happen to cross these smaller stream channels. You can join the project, and then using a mobile application on your phone that you download to your phone, you then have the ability to enter where the stream is using the GPS on your phone, and then the flow condition. And the flow condition, we're going with a very basic, whether you see flowing water, standing water, so there's no visual flow, and then no flow, which would be a dry channel. And then we have this fourth category, channel covered other, and that's kind of a catch-all for maybe if the channel's covered in snow or vegetation, or you are at a site that someone had already established and you really don't know if you're at the right site or not because you don't see a good stream channel. And so these observations, what ends up happening is as people visit these sites again and again and again, we start to create a period of data at a place that we previously knew very little about the flow conditions at that site. And so here's the site where you can see flow, standing water, no flow, and channel covered other. And throughout the year, this channel was flowing, and then it had periods in which it dried completely. And so now we start to understand more the characteristics of this channel, and we have the data to show it, which is exciting. And so some of the things that we've been able to capture so far with Stream Tracker, this project has been around since 2017. So the main data that we have been able to capture through observations from people like you are seasonal conditions. So once again, this is Mill Creek. It's one of our favorite local intermittent streams because it's really apparent when it has flowing water and when it dries, but this stream dries seasonally. We've been able to capture storm conditions. This is a site up Wrist Canyon Road that we were able to catch what it looked like after a major rain event, where you can see that the water quality has dramatically changed. And then we've been able to capture major events. This is a site over in Grand Junction where we have a Stream Tracker volunteer that he'll bike along the bike trail to work each day. And every day he was taking a photo, like the one on the left, that was just a somewhat unassuming photo with no flow, and then there happened to be a very large rain event, and he was able then to capture this post-event photo. And so through this project, we had the unicorn of baseline condition data, so photos from before, which we rarely have following major events. We always wish we had a photo showing how much a site changed following a large precipitation event. And something that we're starting to get more and more data on right now is also post-fire conditions from the Cameron Peak fire. This is a site up the canyon called Washout Gulch, and it was severely burned. And so we're starting to get photos of this stream channel throughout time following the fire, which is really good data to have. And then we also have been starting to capture the important cycles of wetting and drying of these smaller stream channels, which is really important to understanding how these smaller tributaries to the Poudre River and other larger rivers are important in the ecosystem for habitat and also other biological cycles. And so here we have a site that we're actually gauging flow as a separate part of the Stream Tracker project where we have instrumentation installed, but the photo on the left is of when Hewlett Gulch, so this is at Hewlett Gulch dried completely. And then This is a photo from this year showing how much water Hewlett Gulch can have flowing in its channel, where we had high flows this year. But following the dry channel where it completely dried, we were able to come out and we started to kick up some of the macroinvertebrates living under the rocks. And the river was teeming with life. I don't know if that worked. Which you can see here in this little video, where you see all those macroinvertebrates swimming around. And so even though when these channels dry, they are still able to support life when they re-wet. And observations that you all contribute start helping us understand these cycles and the habitat these smaller channels provide in our larger watershed. And so here's a map for you all locally that each of the green dots is a current established streams tracker site where someone has been out there, they've established where that site is and added data to that site. And for your interest, I added the burn perimeter of the Cameron Peak fire, so you can see that we have quite a number of sites within the burn scar. But these are established sites that you can actually navigate to and add data to start to create that period of record. But you can also at any time establish a new site. So you might be out hiking, biking, recreating in the watershed and come across a channel, and you can add that as a new site if someone has not previously visited the site. And then that gets added to the network, and hopefully other people will visit after you, and we start to get that really fun data we're looking for. And so who are we looking for? You, anyone can join and help. This is a project for anyone. We're looking for people to track streams where they intersect a road or trail. This helps keep the sites easily, where they're easy to be found by anyone. And we focus them on public land, but if you happen to have a site on private land that you can access, you can contact me directly and we'll set that up where you're able to track that stream without it being part of the main network. And these sites, we're looking for observations that are opportunistic. So you're out on a hike just for the fun of it and you come across a channel, you can establish a site or add data to a site at any time, or you can choose to visit the same site over and over again and start to contribute that data where you're repeating observations at an established site. And for our project, through the app, we call established sites hotspots. Okay, so now I'm going to transition and we're going to finagle with some additional technology that I'm hoping will work. But my plan is that I want to show you how to download and use the mobile app. So our site is hosted on anecdata.org, which is a platform for establishing citizen science projects that allow you all to join a project. And we're one of many projects on that site. And so if you're really interested in citizen science, I encourage you to explore all the projects on anecdata.org. But I am going to really quickly, let's see, new share, see if we can get this working. Let's see. This is always exciting when you try something new. Let's just do this. Stop here. We are almost there. Almost there. Nothing is more terrifying than hoping technology will work when you need it most.
That is okay. We are here to support you virtually.
Thank you so much. Let's see. And of course, when you test it out, it always works. We're gonna do this. Here we go. Okay. Can you see my phone?
Yes.
Yay! Okay, so welcome to my phone screen. With mobile apps, everyone, obviously, you either have an Android phone or an Apple iOS operating system, and so I have an iPhone, and so this will be walking through how to use it on an iPhone, and it should be somewhat similar for the actions we're taking on an Android, but definitely reach out to me directly with questions if for some reason it's not working. So the app for this project is called anecdata.org. And so it's right here. This is its symbol, and you download it to your phone. And then you can choose based on your own preferences if you want to receive notifications. And then your next step for joining the Stream Tracker project is to create an account on the Anecdata app. And you can also do this on a desktop site if mobile apps are not your thing. And so this is asking you for your name and a username and an email and a password, and then a birth date, just to confirm that you're of a certain age to be downloading the app. But anybody can use this app, and so if you are doing this site as this project as a child or adult, you can navigate the birth date as well. And then you go to register, and what I'm going to do is log in under an account I've already made. So one moment. So once you've created your account, this is the home screen of the Anecdata app. And your first step for joining the Stream Tracker project is to go down here to search, and you'll search for the Stream Tracker project. And here under projects, you'll see it pop up, and there's this option to join the project. So we join the project. And so this is now the home screen of the Stream Tracker project. And really quick, here you have right here the big blue button. This is how you add new observations. You have the ability to view observations that other volunteers have added to the site. So these are the most recent observations. And this is a functionality that you'll have when you are you have Wi-Fi or cellular data. And here is a map that is showing all the established Stream Tracker sites. And so as you can see where we live, since Stream Tracker was started here in Fort Collins, we have quite a few sites, but you can start to zoom in and view the sites there. And then here's a photo gallery of observations that volunteers have contributed, which is really fun because you start to see the variation in stream channels. And this project is nationwide, which is really fun. And so we will come back here, and you should also on your home screen, let's see. Okay, we're back. So to make a new observation, you hit new observation, and it'll ask you if, well, so on my screen, it's asking me if I want it to use my location, and so I'll say allow while using the app. This screen here, we can just skip this screen by saying don't use an event for this observation. And so now this is our main data sheet. And so this first section is the location. And if you tap the address here, you can see where you're located. And then also all of these little black dots right here, these are hotspots. So these are established sites. And so if I tap on one of these, it'll say, would you like to use, and then here's the name of this particular site, which is along the Spring Creek Trail. And so if I was standing at that site, my little blue dot showing my location would overlap that black dot, and I can add data directly to the hotspot. But if I'm adding a new site and there's no hotspot nearby, then I would just back to the location. It's automatically populating the coordinates. I'll also show that you can search for a hotspot. if you know the name of the site you want to visit, or if you're adding data retroactively after you've come out of the field, you can look for sites here as well. The observation date and time is automatically populated, but you can change it if you're adding a site after the fact. And then the next section is streamflow presence absence. This is where you can choose if you see flow, no flow, standing water, or if the channel is covered other. So just for this purpose, we'll say that there was flowing water. Here's some text for help if you need more description on what each type is. And then here, if you are at a hotspot in an established site, you would just fill this in and then keep moving down. If it's a new site where there's no hotspot, you would select that it's a new site, and then you would give it a name. And the name, we don't put a ton of weight into the name, so you can kind of name it whatever you feel comfortable with. We usually opt for kind of an overall name of this place. So like the example you saw earlier, it was along the Spring Creek Trail. Spring Creek Trail. And then you might say by Bridge by Drake as kind of a locator. Or you could add a number or just some distinguishing text that names the site. And then you can add a photo. And so the photo, you can either take a photo or pick from your camera roll where you might have already taken the photo before. So we'll take a photo and it's asking me if I can use the camera, and I say yes. And so we'll just take a picture of this picture to add it. We use the photo. And then if you would like, you can add a note about the site. If it's a new site, this is sometimes helpful to add some sort of description where you could say like, look past bridge for large channel. Or you could make notes on the weather, whatever you wish, but you can also just skip the note section altogether. And then the final thing you do is you save the observation. It'll ask you if you want to save it, and you say okay, and then up it goes, and this observation should then show up in the new the newest observation. So there it is. And I will note, if you are offline where you don't have cellular data, which is the case for the majority of our sites, the app will save the observation to your phone. And then when you return to Wi-Fi or cellular data, on this home screen, right in here, there'll be a banner that will say observations awaiting upload, and it'll have a little number for however many observations you saved. And you would tap on that, and then it would automatically start uploading the sites. And so there we go. And so that is how to use the app. Let's see, that's what I'm looking for. Perfect. So here you have projects you've joined, which is Stream Tracker. If you know you're going to an area where you won't have cellular data, you can tap here to download all projects for offline access, and this will pull all of our hotspots and information where you can access it offline. I will mention that when you are offline, for navigating to a site, what will end up happening is this base map that you see here, it will not load, so it'll just be gray, which makes navigating a little more challenging, but you'll still be able to see your blue dot in relation to a black dot. And there's more resources, or you can reach out to me directly if you're wanting to navigate where you do have a map that has a base map using a third-party navigation app. We have created a workaround for this. So right now we have cellular data, you see the base map. Otherwise it would just be gray with the black dots. So that is how to use the mobile app. If you have any questions at any time, you can reach out to me directly. And so Now, as the last piece of this presentation, I wanted to, here we go, show you really quickly these, let's see, is the current screen showing the Stream Tracker Anecdata site, Laura?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this here is our main webpage. It's streamtracker.org, and here you have a whole suite of resources to get you started. Resources for using a mobile app. If you don't want to use the mobile app, you can still collect data either using a handheld GPS or visiting sites and then adding photos later to establish sites. But you don't have to use a mobile app, and you can use just desktop functionality through these websites. There's also help for identifying sites, navigating offline, like I mentioned before, using a third-party navigation app. And then if you're interested in tracking sites on the Arapahoe Roosevelt National Forest, we currently have a project going on where we're really looking for volunteers to visit sites on this forest and on these forests, I should say, and more information is here. You can view locations, you can view the data, we maintain a blog, there's galleries of photos. You can donate as we are a project that's always looking for financial support. And then here's contact information on how to reach me directly. And then the Anecdata site that we're using as a mobile app also has a desktop version. And so here you're able to visit Anecdata. You can search for projects and join Stream Tracker through here, and you can add observations as well. So these are resources here. And so with that, I will stop sharing, and bring me back.
Yeah, and you do have a question from Eric in the chat. I'm happy to read it for you if that's helpful.
Let's see, Eric. Yes, so Eric's question is, should we be tracking community ditches as well? Or because these are diversions from natural streams, should they not be included? So at this point in time, we are encouraging people to add data on any channel, even ditches and streams. And a lot of our sites within the city limits in particular, like along the Spring Creek Trail and such as that, they tend to be the ditches and controlled diversions where the flow is not a natural flow regime, but that data is still something we're interested in, and something important, and something that we then can start to sort out on the back end for when we're starting to use these data for analyses to better understand intermittent stream flow. But once again, just that baseline data. So a photo really is worth 1,000 words. So if you're able to add that photo, and then also when the ditches are flowing and not flowing, that is all data that is useful and could become even more useful if something were to ever arise where we wish we had that baseline data. Great question, Eric.
I think that's all the questions you have, Kira. I really appreciate, I thought it was a great presentation, super informative, and you did a wonderful job of walking us through the app so that all of us here today and anybody who watches later can be able to download that and start helping you guys out.
Great, thank you so much. This was a joy to get to talk about Stream Tracker, and hopefully we'll see you out there tracking streams.
Yes, we love it. Thank you.
Take care.